Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, good evening. Welcome to this edition of X Fan Show. The A Train Arlington Lane coming to you live from the X Fan Legion Studios. And of course, we're sponsored by Wild Sun Winery and Brewing Company. As you can see, it's just me for right now. But hey, I brought in a special guest with me. What's going on, Herb? Good to see you. Good to see you, man. Dirty's on assignment. He may pop in at some point, but we'll see what happens a little bit later on in the show. We decided to start a little bit later tonight, and grateful to have you joining me here. Hey, make sure that you go and check out our show. Is on Facebook. You can check it out on YouTube, our YouTube channel. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. Hey, and also follow our friends at Pro Football Newsroom. Make sure you follow them on all their social media. You can also go to pfnewsroom.com because we are now a member of Pro Football Newsroom. So wanted to make sure I got that all in tonight. My special guest joining me this evening, he is one of the members of the B-Hawk Live show, and I'm grateful that he decided to take some time out of his busy day and to talk some XFL, USFL merger stuff. And we can also delve into whatever else that we can throw out tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, with me is my man, is Big Daddy Ed. What is going on this evening, sir? How you doing?
Hey, how are you doing? I'm doing good. I'm doing great. Found out that with Dirty being suspended by our sponsor, that we had to bring in somebody else, huh? Decided to clean the show up a little bit.
So they must have had that long meeting, that long talk, and said, "Hey, we need to chill out just a little bit. So we're gonna put you on ice for the night."
Yeah, we're getting them that list of words that you cannot say. And so
Go drown in some B-Hawk Live beer while you at it tonight. You know what I mean? No, he's actually he's currently out with family, and so when we started this show, we said anytime that it was dealing with family, that you handled it, no matter who it was. So it's always special time. So I want to definitely give a shout out to his son Casey, because today is his birthday, and definitely wanted to show some love to him. And he's been a fan of our show too, so that's always cool when you can get the young sons to enjoy the program too. So, all right, I don't want to waste any time, man. Of course, we got this merger talk, and I've always been. Greg said, "Love this show. No dirty. We didn't get no dirty tonight." I think people may enjoy this more than we expect. Okay, so here we are. So far, what we've known is there's supposed to be a XFL draft that's supposed to be coming tomorrow. There may not be an XFL draft that's gonna go down tomorrow. There's going to be some showcases. I'm speculating. I don't think there's going to be any showcases because
has there been any talk whatsoever about it?
I think there's nothing going to go down right now as of yet. But one thing I can say for sure is that I am now like I'm looking forward to it. Like what's going to happen at this rate? You know, now I have seen XFL is still going on as usual because Arlington is doing my namesake is doing their job when it comes to tickets. And they've said that they have signed up, they have 75% of tickets sold in those box seats. So, and then St. Louis is saying, we sold out our box seats. so it's business as usual. And I think that the cities that are still involved in the XFL should continue going on this plan. What do you think?
Oh God, what direction you want me to go? I mean,
take it in a direction that will go in a positive light. You know what I
mean? Well, the positive light is we're gonna have season 2 of some sort of the XFL, whether it's piggyback or whatever you want to call it. We're going to have season 2, which is a good deal. I just wish we knew more than we know right now. And but in the meantime, I guess it's our job to keep the fans excited, and hopefully we're not waiting until February 18th for a February 19th kickoff.
And I mean that's kind of the thing here is the uncertainty of everything. What's going on, Antonio? Good evening to you. Yeah.
I kind of like that sign. I kind of like the banner back there. I don't know that I might just hold on to that.
You might. They did have a special about Danny Garcia today on SportsCenter and Battlehawks, making a special lounge for the fans. Yeah, so it's business as usual. And I know a lot of people are like waiting, like, okay, when is this gonna happen? Like I need my news now, and they sitting back like, we're gonna wait. We're gonna keep waiting. And until it dies off, and then we're gonna do poof, like how they done in the past. They'll have something out there for everybody. They'll let everyone know what's going on within the league and stuff, and what this new league could look like. If there is any new league, it could be just smoke and mirrors.
I hear you.
Could be just smoke and mirrors.
So let's talk about preferences in the perfect world.
What we would like to see, sure, absolutely.
Yeah. What are you looking? Are you hoping for a February start, or are you hoping for an April start?
It would be best, Daddy Ed, that they do it in February. You have to look at weather-wise, and you also have to look at the length if they decide to add more teams to the mix, right? So a February to May looks good, right? You could go as far down as the 3rd, maybe the 4th week of May, if you decide to go that route. Starting a league in April is damaging.
Oh my God, it is.
And no disrespect to the USFL, this ain't about that. This is about looking out for your players, your coaches, and even your fans. You have to understand, playing out in heat, anything over 80, 85, 80 degrees, fine. 85, okay, 90, that's when we start getting a little like, oh, hold on, man. They in pads, they're drenching in sweat. You got to have fans going on all the time, for them, because there's not going to be a lot of air. Sometimes it may be, but my thing is, you got to look out for the players, because there's potential that somebody might pass out. I know they get themselves trained for that, But at the same time, the likelihood that you and I going out and watching these games in sweltering heat is like slim to none.
Yeah, I mean, you look at San Antonio, you look at St. Louis. Shoot, we could play the games in August. Who cares? Because we can go inside. But if you're truly thinking about the fans, you got to start the league in February. I just can't imagine that. Even for opening weekend of March Madness, even if you could do a league-wide bye week, just so you don't have to compete with the opening of March Madness, you could go that route.
And it's always a big week. You have to remember Thursday through Sunday.
Yeah.
Usually when those March Madness games, kick off. I know Tuesday, they do that, the first four and whatnot, and all that jazz and whatnot. But Thursday through Sunday is when it really kicks off. And going against March Madness would definitely be damaging. I know they will have that happen in round 2, where Thursday to Sunday it will go off, go again. And then you have, of course, the 2 days on, I think it's Saturday. You have the Saturday games, you know what I mean? And then you have Monday night with the national championship. So, see, I like this. One of the shows have said that Orlando should play their games at night due to the heat. I would suggest that. I think it would be cooler that way, and plus we would love to see a night game in Orlando instead of day games, I mean, the venue that they're in right now, Camping World Stadium, yeah, put them games on at night. My man lost his stereo code and said, no, Dirty, you must have finally fired him. I think he's suspended for the night.
He's just suspended. It's the step one of Wild Sun trying to reel him in a little bit.
Yeah, trying to get him to calm down just a little bit before he loses his spot. And hey, I might find me an interesting co-host for the future. We'll see what happens. Right?
He might be out getting a haircut too, because I noticed the last episode his top of his head was getting a little long again. So he might be getting a haircut too.
Oh my goodness! You know what? It's always fun, when he steps away. And I think I got a good co-host to handle that duty tonight with Daddy Ed. Let's see. Make up a run through summer football. Yeah, it would. That would look pretty bad. Did hair don't do good with humidity? Oh, sure, mine doesn't either. With what I have. So yeah, I feel everything. Don't you, Ed? You feel everything. Just saying, right?
I'm kind of feeling the heat just from tonight. Gosh,
you see it on the light, right? So you feeling it?
I gotta figure that out.
So, but another thing that I would love to see happen, I would love that I know they said they want to keep the USF players, especially I think Mark Thompson has gone on social media to give his take on it, and a lot of people were saying he's trolling about how he will want to see the league. I know a lot of people have put out on social media how they would like to see what the league would look like if they got to 12 teams. If they were playing in their respective cities, which I would love for them to do, because you got shows like us that want, to be a part of it. They want to be a part of this new league, and they are a lot of them are looking for something different than what's going on in the NFL. But also when you have a name that's been thrown out there, of course, it's now been trademarked with this NSFL, it's really looking like that they're trying to model something for the NFL. If you have a start in April, add a regular Friday night game. I like that. Oh, and happy birthday to that gentleman as well, Andy Gonzalez over at XFL Access. Today is his birthday as well. So I want to give a shout out to you too, man. Great guy in San Antonio. Got a chance to meet him when we did the San Antonio getting kicked off before the season began. Did an event with those guys with the Horns 4 podcast and such. So I definitely got a chance to meet Andy and Warren. But for Andy, today is being his birthday. I want to say happy birthday to him. So yeah, definitely want to do that. But going back to what we were talking about, like you got markets like San Antonio that was involved, DC, St. Louis. You don't want to really miss that type of opportunity where you have fans like that. Even you can I'll throw in Houston. I know a lot of people were, including me, were disappointed with the attendance in Houston, but those that were there, 13, 14,000 coming out, especially in heat, I commend them for that. But I definitely, their fan base is here that they want to see something different. And I think this hub thing that's been thrown out and being discussed, I know they want to save money, and I know that's part of business, but it just would not. I don't think it just would hold well.
Well, you could have the hubs in the major cities that sell the most tickets. You can do that, and you're going to protect your fan base and your big markets. But I don't know how much it's going to grow a fan base in another city that, they don't even have their team there. They're, so I mean, but yet if you're a city that has the attendance, you want a hub. You don't want a hub to go to a city that doesn't have much fan base. So you're kind of in a catch-22 there.
Yeah, and that's also what I see with that is being at that stage and being in the catch-22. Like, I don't want it to be like that, And Los Mysterio coming in saying, I just don't think that the owners and execs really care what we fans want. They seem to do what they want. Of course, it's their money. They're going to do what they think is best. Because case in point, don't you watch the NFL? Do they really care what the fans want? Yeah. Look, they will mess around. I kid you not, Daddy. They will mess around and let Taylor Swift do the halftime show over Usher.
Can you believe that? I mean, Travis Kelce had like 2 catches for 2 yards last night. He couldn't have been more insignificant. Where they had to start dreaming, they had to start coming up with ways just so they could show her and sit in the stands. I mean, that was so contrived. It was so. Oh my God!
You have star power with that. I would even say, I know people sometimes look at spring football like, okay, it's minor league and whatnot, but we like it. There's such a niche to it that we enjoy it, that we adore. We love football. You know what I mean? And then you have rules such as in the XFL with the 1, 2, and 3-point option. Why not go for that? But something tells me whenever this new league is going to become, that's gone, and that's sad.
But as well as I do, the NFL views themselves as the creme de la creme. They're not going to lower themselves to take on any rule change from any lesser league. They're just not. I just don't see them humbling themselves enough to take any rule that makes sense and make it a rule in the NFL.
Now there has been rumblings that they wanted to do that with the kickoff, change that up a little bit. Like,
why would you not? I mean, the kickoff has become so irrelevant in the NFL, it's not even funny.
Right.
Most of the kickers today, they can put the ball in the stands every kick if they wanted to. So why bother? All they're doing is making their advertisers happy because they score a touchdown or they kick a field goal, they go to a commercial. They come back, they kick off, and the ball goes into the stands. They go to another commercial. I mean, all they're doing is just giving themselves more commercial time. The kickoff is a complete joke.
Like, I think it was Al Pacino that said it in Any Given Sunday. One of the worst things they ever did for football was add the TV timeout. So.
Oh, yeah. When you're at the game, oh, my God, it's so annoying. Because even the players are just standing there and they're trying to figure out what can I do for the next 2 minutes.
And they're thinking football, but it's like they're just sitting and waiting until the game comes back on television. And it's like you have directors. It's like it's scripted. Like you have a director, you have producers in the background, you got your writers is in the writers' room. You got them say, "All right, action." Now you can go back out there and play. And so that's kind of that's really weird to me. The NFL should adopt the XFL's exciting overtime rules. Of course, I know the USFL got a chance to use that a little bit as well, and so, but it lets you know that it is effective. That's what I don't think college does that, but I think college should do it too. And yes, in college, you can call a fair catch on kickoff and the ball is on the 25. So that's boring. You know what I mean? So you don't get a chance to see an exciting play whereas in the XFL, you got a chance to sit. You had to wait till the ball was touched. Then you can move. We saw an exciting play back in 2020 with that. We saw it again in 2023 twice, mind you. I think it was on one was on a punt and then another was on there was another with a punt with Darius Shepard. He had a nice return back. I think somebody actually scored. Did somebody score a punt return for a touchdown this season? Or a kick? No, we had no kickoff returns for touchdown.
I don't think so.
But we did have big gains. So that is something that's pretty exciting, and it was safer. Let me say that.
If you adopted the new kickoff rules that the XFL had, you could these kickers, they can control where that ball goes. There's no doubt about it. They could have it if the ball lands in the end zone, the other team gets it on the 40. You could put all the players down on the other end like you do at the XFL, and it'd be the master of the pooch kick. And I just think that would add so much excitement to the game. It would bring special teams back.
The Brahmas did it during the year. They had a kickoff return for a touchdown. Okay. Thank you for chiming in on that one. Speaking of the Brahmas, they one of their players is now signed with the Steelers and Brad Wing, the punter. So we got two punters now in the NFL, and they're getting shots at it. And 9 times out of 10, when you see something like that, they're probably going to be on the roster come Sunday. I think he even played. I'm gonna check his stat real quick as I'm pulling that up. 32 years of age. Let's see here. And some about these Australian guys. These Australian guys are, what the league is looking for. You know what I mean? Because they got good. They're footballers. I think is what they call them, right?
You gotta start somewhere.
You gotta start somewhere, right?
Start somewhere. Just want to start with the kickers.
So he has played in the league before. He had a stint with the Eagles. This is his second stint with the Steelers. He's been with the Giants for 3 seasons. He was with the Memphis Express in my favorite Charlie's league. And of course, he was with the Brahmas, and he led the league, the XFL that is, in punting average this past year. And so he was already elevated to the active roster. So we got 2 players in the XFL that have now been elevated. So one guy that's already been having some time himself in the NFL. So that's good to see. It's weird. It says the comment is weird how the NFL seems to like the XFL's kickoff, yet the CFL and USFL fans seem to make fun of it. Haters gonna hate. Like, come on, man, because they say it's not real football. But guess what? Now you have to be friends with the USFL at this rate. Now, whether we want to hate them or not, like you're gonna have to unite, because it's gonna be we're leaning towards, one big spring football league. And those that have said, hey, this is gonna happen, kudos to you. Congratulations that you knew that this was gonna happen. But
so ways to make the team, or ways to make the league get instant interest. Let's do a top 5 quarterback that you would bring into the league and put it with a franchise on day one.
Did it have to be because I'm telling you that right now, names like Josh Rosen that hadn't seen the light of day. I wish my man from the Rams, Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett is perfect for the XFL if he chose to play in it. You know what I mean? You gotta remember, top guys are not going. You already know, top guys are not going to look at the XFL. You know what I mean? So, but these are guys.
What about? I hate to say it because it's been years now that we've had to hear it, but you know the guy I'm talking about, the big fro.
Are we talking about? No, that's also been addressed. has been addressed by Dwayne Johnson, and Dwayne's thinking same thing like I'm thinking. No, he's not going to do that.
That's what, that's the way I feel too. I say hell no. But there's also
it's not because of his activism. It's because that it's gonna be a sideshow, and I'm getting looked at different. Fine, whatever. He hasn't played in years, and they already have stated that once you got your money from and settlement and all that stuff, no, we're not bringing you back in. And he got all the skills in the world. And he's talking about, I still want to work out and play. Fine. No, go be an activist. Leave football alone.
Yeah.
Go be an activist. That's fine. But leave him out of it. We're tired of. I'm tired of it because all they're doing is trying to grab attention at this point. If anybody that I would love to see that I know that he's not going to be there is Cam Newton. I want to see Cam Newton because he still think he can play. And right now, no team is taking him as a free agent.
And there's T.O. He's not a quarterback, but
see again,
T.O. still says he can play,
right? And he'd be a sideshow at 50 years of age. You want to see? And don't get me wrong, T.O. looks great. He in great shape, and he's like, man, I can still run a 4.5, 4.6 if you let me. He would kind of be on that same wavelength like Darrell Green was when he was playing as long as he did. You know what I mean? So I'm like, he keeps himself in good shape, but as in playing in a league like the XFL, like he went and played in fan controlled football. No, I'm good on that. You know what I mean? He went and played indoors just because it was something to do. That's how he's going. I don't think he's going to look at it as serious as these players that want to make it to the next level.
But I wonder though, if the XFL, USFL isn't going to get the players in the NFL that they were shooting for, this last year they talked about the whole 54th man and all that good stuff, and then when the push comes to shove, we really didn't get much involvement in the NFL. So, do we turn the tables a little bit and start bringing players that are willing to come into our new NSFL that have the name recognition that will give people a reason to watch?
Here's my thing, man. I've always believed in building your own stars. When we had guys like Jordan Ta'amu, you had Abram Smith, you had AJ McCarron, who's now with the Cincinnati Bengals right now. That was I get it. That's name recognition. AJ McCarron, instantly, right? And then you had guys like Ben DiNucci. Ben DiNucci made himself, available where he's with the Denver Broncos, granted on the practice squad, but still, the thing is, he had enough skill where he can make a squad. What really got me was the fact that a guy like Jacour Pearson they saw him as undersized and that he would not fit in somebody's NFL roster, not even as a kick returner. That got me.
Not even as a kick return, but not even as a slot receiver. Look at what Ricky Proehl did. Ricky Proehl.
They think he's too small. 5'6", 5'7", and he don't think he'd make an impact. And the reason why that was being said, because like a guy like Tavon Austin, a high draft pick, he's getting looked at to play in the XFL, USFL. That's what we're gonna call it for the time being. So we still waiting to see what this is gonna be like. Just saw a comment. Says, do you think whichever team that stays in Houston will keep Wade Phillips? I think it would be best if you do keep Wade Phillips, because that would be of best interest that you keep name recognition like coaches in this league, right? So you want a guy like Wade Phillips. Nothing wrong with you got Anthony Becker, you had Hines Ward in this. You got Bob Stoops, who just won a championship, the XFL championship. That was actually cool to see. That a guy like Bob Stoops was able to pull something off like this. Who cares?
I think Wade Phillips would settle right in. In fact, I think he's more than willing to stay in a league like the XFL, NSFL, whatever you may call it, and just settle in and It's not a big commitment. It's not as much of a commitment as the NFL is, and just settle in and ride it out.
Richard says, I see that the USFL is signing players and the XFLs do what they do best. That is keeping quiet. I'm going to do the same. But it's true that the USFL is signing players. Then it's business like usual. As usual. That's okay. They said the Vikings are stupid for giving up Abram Smith. Thank you so much for sharing the show in the group. Wade was one of the best coaches out there. I think Reggie Barlow was way better than Wade Phillips, but that's okay. And Bob Stoops showed why he's Bob Stoops. And what's going on, champ? Good to see you, man. Welcome back to the show here. As we are having an X-Man podcast, Dirty List. No dirty. So it's good that he's out for this week. And I got Big Daddy Ed from B-Hawk Live joining me for this show today. Hey, make sure again, folks, you go and check out Wild Sun Winery and Brewing Company if you're in St. Louis. Make sure that you go follow us on Facebook at XFan Show. Also, go to pfnewsroom.com. That's where we are now, as we're joining Pro Football Newsroom, and you can find out all the news that's going on in spring football. Yes, it is. The show is Dirty List. Dirty List tonight. So yeah, and Daddy has been kind enough to join me this evening. And thank you so much, sir, for coming on and doing this with me. I know I actually wouldn't want you to come on this show without Dirty, and here we are. I got you. Because everybody likes.
Now that we've done it, now that we've done this, we got to do it more often.
we might have to do so. Yeah. We might have to do so. Might have to have somebody tie down Dirty every Tuesday. Just have him come on the Thursday show. I think he's better off on the daytime show as it is anyway. But as we continue on with this conversation, because a lot of this merger talk is hot and heavy, but now it's a waiting game. We have to wait to see what happens. XFL, like I know people say XFL is quiet. XFL is still selling tickets. Okay, they still want to make sure they get they want you to come out to the games because what if it doesn't happen? What if Daddy Ed, we get into 2024 and we have an XFL season, February to April, right? And then they continue on with the USFL and it goes down from April to June. Like the merger won't happen until the following season, right? What if we have that? Then everybody's gonna be like, well, the merger is never gonna happen. Merger is gonna never happen anyway. Ain't that right, David? Of an XFL 3.0? Because he swears up and down, ain't no merger happening. And anybody that reports it, he even said, Daddy Ed, that the press release that they made up was fake, even though it had the XFL symbol.
Yeah, and you don't think that if that was fake, oh my God, there'd be a lawsuit bigger than you can ever imagine going on. You don't hear a word about that, do you? But I am intrigued. I am intrigued about a merger in this respect, that it would be nice to have some other cities that are closer that we can hit the road and go see.
I heard one of those cities would be Memphis. I think Texas Triangle you got to keep because it's right there. Like everything was like 3 to 4 hours within one another, and so
that's what makes Nashville intriguing. But then again, you don't want to get too many NFL cities that in this league too, because you don't want to split that money. But it'd be a nice little triangle to have a Memphis, Nashville, St. Louis. But then you got to put them in the same division. I mean, I keep seeing everybody wanting to put the St. Louis in the Western Division. Just because we're the gateway to the West doesn't mean we need to be in the West. I mean, God, why in the hell would we want to be in a league that's our division is Seattle, Vegas, Portland, for God's sakes, if they ever go to Portland. Oh, geez. Why in the hell would you ever go to Portland? Oh, I'd comment on Portland, but I won't. I'll sustain. But even if it's San Diego, you name it, why would St. Louis want to be in a Western Division where we still got 4.5 hours by air to get to the games? It just, to me, it makes no sense.
Yeah. I understand. I understand the sentiment for that. And my thing is that you gotta have something in the West Coast. Like, I know the USFL, the furthest west team was what? Houston. If you're looking at it geographically, Houston, Detroit, maybe Houston. I want to say Houston. And so the West Coast didn't care about the USFL. If you don't have anything out there in the West Coast, why should I care about it? Why should I watch it? Right? Why should I do anything with it if there's nothing out there? XFL had at least 2 teams out there west. There were Vegas and Seattle, right? And so there was nothing wrong with that, because that means you get the West Coast to now be involved, when it comes to viewership. You got to think about that too. Granted, it made it seem like the USFL was very regional on the east part of the country, whereas when you at least had a team on the east and the West Coast, and then you had some down the middle in the XFL. So everybody got a chance to watch the game.
Yeah, but everybody on the West Coast, even in college now, they all know West Coast teams got to go east if they want recognition, TV time, whatever. Look at USC, UCLA going to the Big Ten. Why didn't they stay out west? Why didn't Washington and those? Why didn't they stay out west? Well, they're going to where the hotbed of football is.
That's a money thing. That I don't think that had to do anything with geographics. I think that just had to do with money and.
Well, it had to do with money, but obviously they wanted to be a part of the Big Ten. I mean,
I think we're heading down a road towards super conferences, where it's going to be 5 major conferences. That's it, or 6, and they just gonna go. You got these big list of teams, and they can all just go after it.
The funny thing is, though, you take football out of the equation. How'd you like to be on the USC ping pong team? And now you got to play an away game. You got to play an away game, and
no, not necessarily. If you really ever paid attention, there are sometimes some of the schools will either remain in that conference or be in a lesser known conference if it's a sport that don't get a lot of recognition. I've seen that. Hey, thank you, Wiki. I know a lot of people don't like or trust it, but they have put where these athletics, where they play, and they play in different conferences if they're not in the trifecta of baseball, basketball, football, or if you want to go quattro, you can go with hockey. If they're not in those 4, then there's going to be something lesser known. And no disrespect to soccer and tennis, they get love too. But if they're not in those particular conferences, they might be somewhere else in a different conference.
But don't you think if you're going to build a Western Conference or a division, that you have more of a chance of building interest and building fan bases and creating rivalries if you can come up with 4 teams or whatever, 3 teams, however, that are going to be on the West Coast that are within distance of each other, that fans will travel. Because if St. Louis is part of a Western division made up of California teams and Washington and you name it, I just don't see how it builds anything.
There's a good comment here. It's for the West Coast teams. They should have at Seattle, at a Portland, then maybe a San Diego or Phoenix. Now, here's my thing with Phoenix. Arizona, period. That's you're sort of playing with fire. You almost had to play indoors there in Arizona. They tried it before. They tried it in Charlie's League. Nobody went out to Sun Devil Stadium. I think it's something different now. They got a different name. They actually have branded name on it now. But nobody went out to those games during. I think they have the most was 9,000 fans, 10,000 at the most, and this is a 60,000 seat stadium. And
My son went to a Cardinals game outdoors a few years back. Kickoff time, temperature on the field was 120. He called me up during the game, and he's like, "Dad, I'm literally melting. I'm going to be a grease spot." They say it's dry heat. I don't care. If it's 120 degrees, I'm melting. I don't care if it's dry. I mean, yeah, it's not going to be pretty. There's no way they can have any kind of football in Arizona unless it's indoors.
One comment says, "I hope that the XFL championship trophy will not, or the whatever the championship trophy is, will not look like the XFL." All right, listen. I'm gonna give it to you straight. The XFL title remains with the XFL. Okay, so it didn't go to a team person. It went to the Renegades because they won the championship, but it remains in the league office. So it's back at headquarters right now as we speak. It's just that it's going to have Arlington Renegades' name etched in stone when it comes to the league history. All right. There was another comment I saw on here. So do you think that the league will have 10 to 12 teams with four divisions? I want to go on a limb and say no. I would rather see 6 teams per division and it just be 2 divisions. If you do 16 teams, I'm cool with the 4 divisions. I'm cool with that because then you'll have your games. You'll have your 2 games against your division opponents, and then you can have a game of sorts, a game or 2 within the other divisions.
It's going to be
on it like if they keep it XFL, USFL, you have 6 XFL teams and 6 USFL teams.
I would be all for the bowl being the winner of the USFL versus the XFL.
It brings back the throwback of the NFL,
yeah,
the AFL before they merged. You know what I mean? So that would be a cool little look to have. You know, yes, Battlehawks did sell out in the new section. They don't merge this coming year. It may be worse to have a lame duck season for a few teams. That could be the case here. Why can't you use the XFL type of hub for the Houston Roughnecks / Gamblers, Arlington Renegades, San Antonio Bombers, and the New Orleans Breakers? That's a team that I would want to see if they what happens to them. You know, you have in the USFL with the New Orleans Breakers, and you know the rumblings around the league, rumblings. Let me say that around social media and alt football community is saying that the Gamblers are going to be the team and not the Roughnecks. I would feel bad for that because the Roughnecks actually had a fan base. I get the Gamblers had the name recognition, but the Roughnecks actually had some fans to watch their games. Now wait a minute, hold on. What's this sex saying? I just realized you guys could sue the XFL, make a whole lot of money because it's way too close to X-Fan League, which is close to the name of your show. I don't know. we'll I guess we have to look into that. Tempe was terrible when the Cardinals played there with sun blazing on one side of the stadium. No one bought tickets on this side. That is very true. Yes,
I do like the 16. I think 16 is a stretch because you're not going to have 16 relevant team fan bases, I think, to start off with. But I think if you can go with 12 and do 2 6s, I like the 6 and the idea that then when you talk about the West Coast teams, you can have 2, 3 out there, but then you still have enough teams that if St. Louis is part of the Western Division, you can still have a Memphis, or you can still have a team in there, a couple teams, Michigan or somebody, that you could still have rivalries that you can develop here around. That's going to give fans a reason to travel.
But see, everybody bitched about, you know, with the 8 teams, it should just be one big list, and then the top 2 teams face off against one another.
This ain't fantasy football. Come on now.
See what I mean? But that's what I'm saying.
And like last year, it became who scored the most points. So it was fantasy football. Throw them all in one league. Whoever scores the most points is in the playoffs. That's fantasy football. So
yeah, and they won't do that. And I know because people bitched about the fact that the Battlehawks went 7-3 and didn't make the playoffs, and yet the 4-6 Arlington Renegades did.
well, but that's a lame argument. We've talked about that.
Yes,
all they had to do was win the games they needed to win, and they'd have been in. So
exactly that was the point. And having all these teams, the NBA even discussed having that happen as well because they were tired of seeing teams under 500 making the playoffs, and then you have these teams that are way better, 500 better, and they outside looking in.
But is that the case though? Because if you look at it, if I'm in a weak division and if I'm in a 4-team division and I'm a really good team and the other 3 teams suck, so I'm 6-0 to start the season versus another division that they maybe go 3-3 because it's a tough division. Is the team that's 6-0 necessarily a better team just because they're 6-0?
That was proven by the Arlington Renegades against DC. Correct, right?
Yeah. I mean, records are lame. Records are. I mean, you got to have rules to make who makes the playoffs. I understand that, but you know what? The record can't always be the ultimate tiebreaker because the level of competition within divisions means a lot.
Got another comment. Damn right, Daddy. Keep the XFL and USFL names as divisions. Tulane could be a good place for New Orleans. Interesting. I like that. You can still have the XFL USFL rivalry with the 6-6. It's interesting that we have 6 stadiums secure, and they sent emails to people saying their seats are secure if this hub deal is going down. Some teams will probably have the term put on pause, like the Tampa Bay Bandits. Okay. Been in Tempe. It's a cool stadium. February, it won't be bad, but later on, you will get burned. What's going on, Sandy? Just reading the comments as we do every time we do the show. Renegades defied all odds and won. Yep, Dallas acquired Luis Perez late in the season, which is also true. Reminds me of Tom Brady killing the AFC East many years ago when the Patriots ran that division. Yep, amen to that. Oh, why is it so quiet, you ask?
Oh, God. A suspension come down from Wild Sun Winery and Brewing Company. They gave Dirty a list of words now that he cannot say if he wants to continue to have a sponsor. So step 1 of this process is to make him realize he's got to shut the hell up sometimes. And so,
wait a minute. What's happening?
So they brought in one of the guys from Wild Sun to help enforce that, which
they came in like
is me.
Oh boy. Will Danny Garcia's name still be on the ball? I would love for it to be the case. That would be the case. But I'm not sure. I mean, like literally we have to see what's gonna happen. I would still want her to be an executive in this merged league. I still would love her to be a face in this league because something that she did was very historic, and actually being behind a league that was actually pretty cool to see.
She had more. She was more a backer of the league than Rock was, hands down.
And that's what I want to see her as the face more than I want to see The Rock. You know what I mean? I know The Rock is recognizable everywhere, but having a woman over a football league is cool all by itself. Especially somebody that's invested in the league. This ain't Georgia Frontier. Rest in peace, Georgia Frontier. A lot of people spit on your grave in this process. But my thing, she invested in the league. She loved football. She loved, the wide range of the sport, wanting to be involved in a lot of its dealings. So, yeah, when you invested in it, that's a damn good thing. Damn good thing. I don't mind if it was just USFL, but can we keep all the XFL team names and 4 USFL teams? This is the most peaceful episode.
And face it, it kind of takes heat off me in a way because, all these years Amanda has looked up to me. Having Danny Garcia in the league kind of gives Amanda someone else she can look up to.
Yes, she can still be the chairwoman even if the role is diminished. I like that idea. See, Denzel said to me, Danny made the league feel more important. Yeah, she did. All that when the videos we saw during the season, especially leading up to the league was returning, she was the figurehead. She was the one sitting at the meeting. She was the one sitting at the conferences.
She was the one showing up in midfield on game day. She went to a lot of venues. She put herself out there.
Yes, I would love it to happen again. Let's start the week after the Super Bowl like they did this past year. That was fine. What is going to happen to the new Ooh, that's a good one. What would happen to the new Vipers head coach?
I'm pretty sure the Giants might have moved on once he took that job, huh?
Interesting enough to see what happened.
That put him in an interesting position. I wonder what his contract reads.
Yeah. As they say, Big Daddy Ed is the spokesperson for Dirty. I think so.
On the cleaner version.
What are the chances that we'll see cities like Omaha, Tulsa, or Albuquerque, Boulder, San Jose ever getting awarded a team in this merged league? Or do you see teams in Boston, Chicago getting back in this league first? All right. It's an interesting topic because Oklahoma is a football state, right? So Tulsa, I don't know. Omaha, them being they had the Omaha Nighthawks when it was in the UFL. They did pretty decent. I think Tulsa has a arena football team, the Drillers, I think. Albuquerque. When I hear Albuquerque, I just think of what happened at the end of Any Given Sunday. You remember that when Al Pacino said, "I'm going to take over the Albuquerque team, and I'm going to sign Willie Beeman as my franchise quarterback." Like, am I seeing him? Am I seeing that happen? Come around if Albuquerque were to get involved, New Mexico. I understand there are markets. I understand that there are markets that don't have football that would love to have it. Right? We talk about Memphis, we talk about Birmingham, they have I'm trying to think. You got to think of big major cities that would want to see.
Yeah, I used to go to Des Moines when Kurt Warner was playing for the
Barnstormers.
And Des Moines might be a stretch because they're maybe not quite big enough. But when I lived in Iowa, we went to Omaha all the time. Omaha could definitely have a team. Omaha could definitely support a team, and I think they would be over the top. In the same way with Oklahoma City, I can't believe Oklahoma City isn't getting more pub either.
Yeah, because that's a metro. Isn't that a metropolitan city?
Oh my God! Oh yeah, Oklahoma City. Oh, I think you give them a pro team. I mean, yeah. I think you put Omaha and Oklahoma City in the mix with St. Louis and Memphis, and that's our division. It'd be going on. That
would be your Midwest, right
there.
That
would be my Midwest right there.
Gotcha. Let's see, Denver. I would love to see Denver play in it. If they were to get involved. West Coast teams that. I would want Vegas. I really want Vegas because I know that the situation was bad for them, or not the best. Let's say that it wasn't the best, but they made, as many people have said, I've seen on social media, you made a turd. They try to polish a turd.
Well, and the fact is they could have. Oh my God, they could have helped themselves. But that first game. They got what they deserved because they made it literally look like a cattle yard. I mean, it looked like you had a guy that was a senior in high school that, jumped in his car and did cookies all over on the football field before the first game started. And all you saw was just turf where they was trying to fill in the tread marks. It was the dumbest look I've ever seen. I can't. So anything, I'd love to have a team in Vegas too, but they screwed the pooch on that. That's their own fault.
Because I really do think they were trying to get in Allegiant Stadium, and they were like, no.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. And they ruined it in Vegas with that first game. And I hate to see it, but they never recovered.
Oh man, like
I remember that first game when they showed this visitors sideline and they showed the coach talking to his quarterback or whatever on the sideline, and all you saw behind him was blue sky. It's like, where in the hell are they standing in a field somewhere? It's like they totally screwed the pooch on that game.
Times like I miss venues like Sam Boyd Stadium, and I've heard from friends in Vegas. It was like, no, you don't want to go there. You don't want to play in that venue because it's they talk like camping, like was said about Camping World Stadium, that is not the best. But at least it would have held more than 30,000 people.
But they deserve to have a team in Vegas. I mean, Vegas deserves to have a team for all the right reasons. So
right, just that the timing and what they were going for just did not work.
They ran out of time, basically.
How about this? Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota. That'd be a good choice to play in the winter.
I don't know about that. I'm a Vikings fan, so you would think I would say, hell yeah. But I would think that if you were going to have a venue in Minneapolis, you'd probably want to have some kind of police there. And last time I went to Minneapolis, there wasn't a whole hell of a lot of police. And what there was getting ridiculed. So, no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was there. I was there at the height of all that. And it was embarrassing to be a Vikings fan.
Gotcha.
It was just, oh, my God.
Say less. I got you. Cool idea, but the thing about these smaller cities is that they may not draw much in ratings. Nobody in bigger cities really gets up for the Albuquerque Dust Bunnies or the Omaha.
All I know is when you're driving to Lincoln to watch a Nebraska game, back in the day when they used to win more than 2 or 3 games a year, you always had to go through Omaha before you made that Dust Bunny drive to Lincoln, Nebraska. And I firmly believe that Omaha would fill any stadium you put in there.
Really?
I think that's a place to go.
I know they have. What is it? Is it the College World Series up there?
Yeah, we went. That was a normal May-June trip for us to go to the College World Series, and that stadium was always sold out for that.
Got it. Okay. Said Vegas Stadium would never work. I think the tendency would be to continue to expand in warm weather markets or markets with a dome. Minnesota. All right. Let's see. Danny and Rock made way too many changes. If you want to say from a marketing standpoint, like the color scheme, black and white, okay, fine. But as in like the league itself, there weren't too many changes made. So I have to disagree with that. The Omaha, the cornsuckers, yeah, that's it. Springfield, Missouri, just saying.
Oh God.
I'm gonna
Springfield, Missouri, you better be careful though, because all the football equipment might get stolen before the opening kickoff. Springfield, Missouri is like the #1 most crime city in the state of Missouri. So you talk about taking your ball and going home, they might literally take all the balls and you wouldn't have any for the game. So
the league needs a nice mix of large and small markets. You need the large markets to get favorable TV deals. I guess in a way you would have to say that because Charlie's League had 5 of their 8 markets in non-NFL cities, right? With the cities being Atlanta, Arizona, and what was it? It wasn't San Diego because they had a team. Let's see. Memphis, let me see here. I got to check it real quick because Memphis was one of the teams. Let's see. Atlanta.
While he's checking,
Arizona, and
X-Fan Legion, sponsored by Wild Sun Winery.
I like how you just threw that in. I just love how you threw that in.
Who's gone dirtyless this week?
Hey, we actually did it. I didn't think we could make it over an hour. We did. It's 9:00. But real quick, it was 2 teams in NFL cities in the Alliance of American Football. You had Atlanta, and you also had Arizona, being it, at the time, Tempe, Arizona. So it was in a NFL market. But you get cities like Birmingham, you get Memphis, Orlando. See, Salt Lake was not the best. I understand what they were going for, and they played it in University of Utah Stadium. Of course, everybody remembers the San Antonio Commanders and of course the San Diego Fleet. But having it, you remember they were in smaller cities, and you would say you would need a mix of both, and it didn't quite work out. Atlanta would be nice. Because they could play at Center Park, play where Georgia State plays. But would they support it? You also have to remember it's in the South, and the weather plays a big part. Got to think that. You got to think about that. Boise, Idaho. I don't know. That's interesting. They got a nice stadium out there too. Is it them? Or is it North Dakota State? One of them has like this great looking dome that hold like 35,000. This is a football stadium, and it's like ridiculously great. It looks great. Like I would hold pro football in that stadium if it was somewhere else. But there, I don't. That's a hard sell. That's a hard sell. You know what I mean? So it's a hard sell for that type of thing. But hey, we have touched on a lot, and you guys have chimed in greatly in this hour. And a dirty list show ain't as bad as we thought.
No, in fact, I guess I got to stand back for it. We got a fist bump. We got to, hey.
There you go.
I also got to take I got to reel it back a little bit on Springfield. I'm trying to take some of the heat off St. Louis. So the more I can move the reputation the other side of the state, the better. So that's just a little.
Even if they did New York, even if they put it in New York, I wouldn't mind it put it in Syracuse at the Carrier Dome. I would not mind. They have a dome out there. You know what I mean? So if they wanted to play in domes, boom, you got some spots. You got some. So great show. I think tonight was probably one of the better shows I had without Dirty. Dirty go get a phone call or something.
I'm kind of wondering though. I figured he would chime in. So the fact that he hasn't, I kind of wonder if he's.
I think I know why.
If it hurt the ticker a little bit.
I think I know why, but I'm gonna leave it at that. I think I know why. But as always, a great show we had tonight. Everybody getting a chance to chime in. Everybody can talk bad about Dirty a bit. He don't mind. He doesn't mind. So go ahead. Yes, Boise State with the blue turf. I forgot about that. That's right. See, Carrier Dome sound interesting. Yes, it does. It does. It does. It said I should be Dirty free at least once a week. Hey, you know what? I might have to think about that. We'll see.
What about Detroit? Would Detroit?
If the Michigan Panthers can get 10, 15,000 in, I don't see why not. If they're using Ford Field, they're using an actual NFL stadium here.
Yep.
So that gives promise. And I get it that it's not, it was, having 2 games in there, but when the Michigan Panthers played, it was about them too. So Detroit being a hub, that would be fine. I would love to see Detroit in this mix too. I see, Sandy. I had to disagree. I know everybody talking bad about the city, but listen, I'm talking as in that dome. They got to play in Ford Field, and it was, it was what it was. But hey, it's another venue that they can use where they can put some more people in.
And say what you want about Detroit, they back their teams. So
Canton, Ohio is still in play. Why? I get it. I get the Pro Football Hall of Fame stuff. I get that. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Leave Canton, Ohio alone. Nashville. If Nashville gets in play, there's another venue with Vanderbilt University. They don't have to play they don't have to play where the Titans play. Even though the Titans are really looking at getting a new stadium. They're looking
they already had that passed, don't they?
I think they did. They trying to get that new stadium thing together. Chicago, that is a tough one.
That is.
You gotta go back to Chicago during XFL 2001, and that was a bit difficult because I think almost every home game was cold at Soldier Field. So they didn't have like one warm game, I don't think. So that's a difficult sell. And don't get me wrong, I would love to see Chicago Enforcers make a return, but man, have every game in Chicago cold from February to April, maybe even May. I don't think so. And it's blistering cold. No thanks. They want some warmer climates. Maybe Tampa gets back in the mix. Maybe. Columbus. I don't think they're gonna let them play in Buckeye Stadium at all.
And I think
play in that Columbus Crew Stadium, I guess.
What about Bozeman, Montana? You got that field. You got the field. The Montana State plays that. That's a pretty good sized venue. Only problem is with a February, March, it'd probably be kind of difficult.
I would say even for Nevada purposes, you go play at the University of Nevada in Reno. You can play there. They have a stadium out there. They play football. I wouldn't. It keeps a team in Nevada. May not have to be Vegas. You can call it the Nevada Vipers. I don't.
Yeah, and maybe Reno's a better fit because then it kind of gets you a little ways away from all the things there is to do in Vegas.
Is this the Hollywood Casino in St. Louis you talking about? Moving right down the street from there? You know what? I try, Richard. I really do try for that stuff. I get it, Portland, with the team they have out there in soccer. I know they want to. Soccer stadiums are more like backups. You need something 30,000, 40,000.
And most generally, a real soccer stadium, especially the older soccer stadiums, the stands aren't built vertical. They're built horizontal. I went to a couple soccer games and sat in the lower deck, and I still felt like I was 50 yards away from the field. You get no depth perception whatsoever. They're on the other side. You have no clue if they're close to the sidelines or whatever. Soccer fields that are got any age on them just aren't good venues.
I get it. Audi Field was probably the best when it came for, with the DC Defenders and stuff because how they had those raucous crowds. Yes, Andy sees. See, Andy, remember.
Holy crap, though. When we went to Audi Field, you had to literally hike up the stairs. I mean, oh, my God. It was like, you're usually going up the handrail, I'm literally going like,
Hey, that is Busch Stadium. That is New Busch Stadium in the upper deck. It looks scary as hell. Wait.
Man, you fall. You may not stop till you get to the field, right?
And we went to, 2013? 10 years ago, we went to the Division Series, the very first game against Pittsburgh. And Adam Wainwright, who is now retired, was the pitcher that day. We get up to the stadium. We thought we'd get there late. The game started late. No, we got there on time, literally 30 minutes before the game started. But we get to our seats, and they're so at the top. It got to a point where my lady and my ex-wife, we sitting up there with some friends, and she has an anxiety attack because of how the seats were. It looked like if you look down, it was like you about to fall and tumble down those stairs.
Well, yeah, and I'm not saying anything bad about Audi Field because when we went to the game out there this last year, our seats were awesome because you're literally right on the field, even when you're sitting up high. But my God, when I saw drunk people, it's like, oh my God, they're like one stumble away from ending up on the field before they stop. It was incredible. It was incredible how steep those steps were. But
David, I understand where you're saying that they work very well for spring football, but it's up to that stadium if they choose to put it in there. It's up to who owns the stadium, who runs the stadium, if they want to put those teams in there. And that it would make sense because it has the field for it. Remember back in 2020, LA had a soccer stadium that they were playing in for the Wildcats. You know what I mean? And so are you talking about Hollywood Casino Stadium in Columbus? Okay. He says Chicago would support a team if it's the USFL schedule April to June. Maybe. I think that's what they're going for. Right now, the focus is on warm weather cities and cities that have domes. Those that have domes, they will want to put them in. And we said the Renegades need to go back to Dallas. Does anybody outside of DFW really know anything about Arlington? Well, Arlington has just about all the sports, all the big sports, and it's in one cluster. You literally have Globe Life, you have Choctaw, Globe Life across the street, and literally AT&T Stadium across the parking lot. So that's why they're not gonna change it. There's no point in changing it at this rate. And I think the old Arlington Stadium is just down the street from where Choctaw is. The old one, the ground where it's at is not far. So even when they had the old Rangers Stadium, that wasn't far. So they kept it in that area for the most part. And AT&T Stadium is massive, man. I just seen the outside. I ain't been in it yet, but when I get a chance to go, I'm sitting there. I'm probably gonna look up and like, oh my God, look at this place. You know,
hey, Brett, nice to join you. But what you're talking about, Cowboy Stadium, though, they said it the last game I watched on TV that people are getting to where they don't even watch the players on the field anymore. They just watch the TV.
Most ML teams will not allow spring football. So, yeah, he's right. He's right about it. We kicked them to the curb. That's what we did. We kicked them to the curb. 2021 went to the Mega Bowl Spring League Championship at Rice. It was super hot, and climbing up those steps takes forever. Were there a lot of people at that game? I don't think so. And this was and Rice Stadium from where I am is literally about 45 minutes from where I am right now. So, and the venue is just looks weird. I've driven around it before and stuff, and you got to go down one-way streets and whatnot. So, but it's like it's a lot of space. You can get to it. You know, parking, tailgating wouldn't be a problem. It's just a venue that I have an issue with. And it seems like it's in the middle. It's not far from the Houston Zoo. So if you want to make a big day of it or make a weekend of it, and there's hotels around that area too. You want to make a weekend of it, you can go to the Houston Zoo and catch a game at the same, that same weekend. So definitely an interesting area to be in if you ever come down to Houston.
We just got to make the Roughnecks and Rice happen. We got to find that angle. Keep the Roughnecks in the league.
He said, Dirty's in the corner. Yeah, we put him in the corner. Exactly.
Dirty's in the corner, memorizing his vocabulary list.
I'm ready for some action. Trust me, we are too. We want to see real news because the rumors going around is bananas, and it's always about spring football because we want to see these players and they want to see them thrive. Again, I want to see them have their own stars. I don't. it's hard for me to put it into words like this. I would not mind them getting to the NFL, but if the NFL doesn't quite work out for them, be a star in spring football. You're not competing against the NFL. That's different. This ain't like those other leagues that tried to do that. This ain't like when the AFL did it for 10 years and then as long as they did it, competing against the NFL. This is spring. Spring is not a competition. It's not direct.
It's not direct competition, and it's just a natural way for the NFL to develop players.
I don't even think. That's my thing.
But I know what you're saying, but that option will always be there because they'll have rights to players, and rather than have them just sit off to the side, they would rather see them get game experience and play. So there's always going to be. Look at Brian Hill. I mean, you name the guy. The NFL has rights to players that they want to see them play. So
this statement right here couldn't be more true. I wish they never partnered with it.
I don't. And I think it's obvious they didn't partner with them or else you'd have saw more of the players that were signed actually make practice squads and rosters. It's obvious that they didn't have the partnership that I think everybody thought. But that still exists if that's the route they want to develop.
FYI, David says after ESPN aired their piece again on Danny Garcia this afternoon, they said neither the XFL and USFL have had any further comment regarding the merger talks. I wouldn't either, because this ain't about it right now. This is about, like you said, Hispanic Heritage Month. And so, hey, I like this. United by the love of football. It's long, though. That's the problem. The hashtag is long as hell. So, I mean, it would make a great tagline, but not a great hashtag. It's so long. It's so freaking long. Come on, you see it. It's long as hell.
Oh, God. National Spring Football League, though. I mean, I don't know.
Hey, I would call it the ULF, the United League of Football. You know what I mean? So,
can we just get a year or two, please, of something that's not totally different year over year over year over year?
It's more like John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt long. That's how it is. Yeah. National Spring Football reunited, and it feels so good. United Football League, they could come up with something better than National Spring Football League. That's just boring. But that's what I think they're doing. Like, it's not going to be about, and they're going to be like, it's not about the name, it's about the game. That's how you should do it. It ain't about the name, it's about the game, baby. That's how you should do that. That should be the tagline. So, but again, I tried to close out 20 minutes ago and we didn't do it, but I'm about to do it now. So, Daddy Ed, thank you so much for hopping on and doing this on such short notice.
The pleasure was all mine.
Yeah, make sure that y'all tune in to B-Hawk Live tomorrow. We doing the show tomorrow night? No? Yes? Yes, so, maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. B-Hawk Live tomorrow, Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock Central Time. See? Thank you. I'll take that. It's about the game, baby.
It might just be the laughing hyena and me, though, because we're in negotiations with Wild Sun as to whether Dirty's off probation by tomorrow night.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see if he read his vocabulary list. That's all I got to say. God.
Thank y'all for the comments. Great show tonight. Guys, I'm ready for everything to come out. Great show, gents. Great job. See you, fellas. Yep, we're about to get up out of here. We want to thank y'all so much for tuning in to this edition of the X-Man Show on Tuesday night. We ran longer than we supposed to, but guess what? We don't care. We had fun. Didn't you have fun? It was a dirty-less show.
Dirty-less show.
It was a dirty-less show tonight, man.
This show lasted so long, Dirty's hair probably grew a quarter inch.
What's up with the Rough Them Up podcast? Right now,
I need a vocabulary list too.
Right now, it's on hiatus.
His hair grows.
We'll see what happens with this merge league. Comes the Roughnecks return, and guess what? The Rough Them Up podcast will be back. All right, guys. See you. Dirty in trouble again, as always. When is he not in trouble?
See you tomorrow.
Hey, see y'all tomorrow, and join us for the show. Join them for the show. Sponsored by Wild Sun Winery and Brewery, and of course, it's broadcasting through the X-Fan Legion Studios. There goes Big Daddy Ed. He's gone. And so am I. We'll catch y'all next time for another edition of the show. See y'all later.